Good morning. Today I'm very happy to welcome Mr. Mike Provenzano. He's an actor, producer, director as well. Good morning, Mike. Thank you very much for joining today's show.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure as well. Mike, I want to know first about, I've read your biography, but in your own words, I would like to know when did you feel and get interested to venture into filmmaking and entertainment?
The long story short is that it was something I wanted to do in my 20s, but I didn't have the confidence or the life experiences that I have now. So I ended up staying in the corporate world, and I got into the industry about 7 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. So you had your own company or you worked in a
A little bit of
corporation,
both. Yeah, a little bit of
little
both.
bit of both.
Yeah,
Very good.
I
Mhm.
worked for a computer company for from the time I was 19 on
Really?
and
Software or hardware?
we were a reseller. So back in the day,
Yeah.
we had superstores and all that stuff, which was way
Yes.
before the what it is now. So I'll
Yes.
spill my age if I tell you when, but I can tell you that we did
Yes.
that for I worked for a company that they called Computerware, and there was four brothers that owned the company. And then
Yes.
after they sold it and took it public, one of the brothers and I started a computer rental business, and then we kind of went into other facets in the technology world as well.
Excellent. Excellent. Myself, I studied communication, by the way, as well, and
Okay.
acoustics. But I work in film since I think 2 years before I graduated. I work in American film distribution in Egypt, my
Oh,
country.
nice.
Yeah. So at that time, movies like The World Is Not Enough, James Bond, Mercury Rising,
Mhm.
Red Corner, Richard Gere, and Titanic were released. I worked in this for about 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you started to venture. You followed your initial interest, changed
Mhm.
career, and I've seen in your filmography, you started to work on various shorts, and you got many awards for them, right?
Yeah, it was funny. I'm part of an acting group called Actors Think Tank, and
Mm-hmm.
one of the things we were talking about in one of our meetings was what our goals were. And I had a
Mm-hmm.
goal of being a principal on the Hallmark Channel, right? That's the goal I
Mm-hmm.
set myself a few years ago, and I said, I really don't have any footage to show that. I don't have any lead like romantic male footage to show. So
Yes.
I watched a short that another actor did, and I was asking him, I'm like, "How'd you do that? Who wrote it?" He goes, "I wrote it myself." And so I told him my story. I gave him
Yes.
what my idea was, and he wrote me a short film, 15 Roses, and so I produced that, and obviously I got the footage that I needed out of it, but it was well received. But the thing about it's the things you learn obviously after the fact. If there was one thing I could have done differently with 15 Roses when we did it, I would have had it scored for music, which I didn't understand at the time. And now that
Yes.
unfortunately hindsight's 2020. And then
Yes.
right after that, we did a sequel to the very first short film that I was in as an actor was called Tit for Tat, and it was about CTE and concussions in football players. And
Yes.
so the guys that produced the first one, they moved. One guy moved to California, another guy moved to Florida, and but the script was done, and it was only going to be me and two other guys that were in it before. So we coordinated it. I said I'd produce it, and that's how I made the second one.
Yes.
So that's what I've produced, and now I have a couple scripts that are ready to go, and they're one's a feature, and it's big budget, so I've got a pitch deck done for it now. Now it's time to find some money.
Excellent. I want to ask you right now, what is your perspective about shorts? Because before internet, shorts used to be only on film festivals,
Mhm.
and they didn't have a chance to be in sold. But right now, many platforms and a lot of them they do like we used to do in festival, like program or curate a bunch of shorts under certain tags or flags,
Mhm.
and this can help shows from different countries to acquire new audiences, not necessarily festival goers or juries or judges. Do you think the shows you did so far, I think, gain such recognition among audiences, and you succeeded to resell them to networks?
Well, with 15 Roses, I purposely didn't try to sell that one, right? And the reason being is I now have a full length
Hmm.
film script for
Yes.
that. So we purposely didn't go down any distribution path for that one, just because we knew we were going to go with a bit. We were going to try to do that on a bigger scale. So we did it on purpose. And The Visitor, which was the sequel to Tit for Tat, I don't really own the rights to it, so it wasn't something I was doing. But I agree with you 100% that nowadays there are so many platforms for people to, when you produce any type of work. I think the hard part is filmmakers are passionate about making films, right? But I don't think they understand the distribution part specifically, and that's the challenge. A lot of people go right to film festivals, which is fine, and but I think with all the platforms that are out there, you can definitely get your work out for the masses to see. It's, I guess, the marketing of having them someone find it might be a little trickier, but there's definitely platforms out there now, and there's actually festivals now that are focused on that. That it's not just a festival, but then it turns into a possible distribution deal for your film if it was in the festival. So and I think that'll continue to morph even further over time.
Yeah. I think as well that like shorts help you as well to create a show reel for yourself, and as well, like you said right now, I think it is one of the elements that can help you to pitch a feature length film, right?
Absolutely, and that's the nice
Mm.
thing for me is that we have a short film for the feature script that we've got now. So I have footage that I can share of the story, even though we tweaked we took out some pieces from the short to make the full length, but we still have footage to show what we've been able to do. You know.
Yes. Speaking of your computer background, I want to ask you like a technical question about what is your opinion right now about the popularity of artificial intelligence everywhere. Only for me, yesterday, for instance, I work in different, I construct websites and social media, and all the time I see new stuff coming up. So only yesterday, like I've seen videos about 50 application related to artificial intelligence, and I'm starting to use 2 or 3 of them today before I talk to you. So right now, with your background and right now you are a filmmaker, it's in the broad sense. I want to ask you, what do you think right now on the impact of artificial intelligence on creativity right now?
Yeah, I think there's still unknown for a lot of people, and I'm not like super up on AI, but what I can tell you from my past experiences are that um, a lot of people are hesitant to change, right? That's just people's human nature. Um, but AI is obviously, there's a benefit to it in different areas. And I wouldn't say it's the right answer for everything, because I don't think anything is the right answer for everything. Um, but I think there's a place for AI. I don't think AI should replace a human being from a creative standpoint. Can it assist in writing and that type of stuff? Yes. Should it be something that replaces a human actor? I don't think so. I don't think it should do that. I don't think that's the path we should take. And I'm glad I'm not in the union right now, but I'm glad that the strike is happening to kind of protect, people from that, because I think if the acting industry is successful, then I think other industries will be too, or can be. But like I said,
Yes.
I'm not, I don't want to talk about that. That's not, I don't want to go against any of the rules that the guild has in place, even though I'm not in it yet. I will be one day. So I want to
Yes.
honor, their what their
Yes.
guidelines are.
Yes. Yeah, what I want to ask you about your production company right now, why did you choose its name, and what kind of projects you feel you are enthusiastic about presenting through?
So the name is like the initials of my children. This is where that came from. So that's kind of the where the ammo came from, and the types of projects. For me, it's I want to make projects that inspire others in some fashion, and even some of the inspiration would be for the people that are involved in the making of something, whether it's a short film or a full length feature or anything like that. Because I like to, for me personally, I like helping others, and I like to see other people succeed. And from my background, I was given the opportunity to succeed in the corporate world, and I always try to find ways to give back any way that I can, where I can. And for me, it's not just about, it's about the team putting it together. So for me, that's really why I enjoy doing the work. Obviously, when I did my two shorts, it was more about the first one was about, very specifically, I wanted footage. And the guy was like, well, I could write you a scene or I could write you a film. And I said, and it wasn't that much extra to write a film. I said, let's go for the film and see how it goes. So, um, it's not, I'm not going crazy. I think I'd rather be an actor than a producer. Um, but I enjoy, both sides of it. And the one thing that I did get out of the producing of the last two were, as an actor, what are the things that are important to you when you show up on set? And I made sure that everyone had a great experience, number one, and uh, we're heard, we're taken care of, and all of that stuff along the way. So it was a fun experience for everyone, even though we had the hiccups along the way that you don't expect. We showed up and we were filming outside at a winery. And of course, the electric company shows up and starts cutting trees that day. So that,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? There's things you can predict, you can plan for, and the next day cicadas were all over the place, making
Mm.
noise. So it was kind of like we were dealing with things that were outside of our control. But you know what? Everybody went with the flow, and we still got it done and made it happen. And everybody was happy with what we produced.
I want to ask you a quasi personal questions. I imagine when you decided to change career, you were married and you have children as well. When did you started to talk to your wife about, and maybe your children as well, if they were grown up, about changing career, and what were the reaction?
Well, the reaction to getting into this was was kind of like, "Are you crazy? You having a midlife crisis or something?" Um, and
Yes.
that did occur. There's no doubt. And the hard part about this business is that it takes time to become known. It takes time. It takes a lot of focus to book work, and it's all of it's out of your, the booking of work is out of your control. The submissions for opportunities is what's within your control, right? If you can find the opportunities. And that was what I focused on. I said, I have a very strong work ethic and always have. And I brought that to this industry for me personally. So, even right out of the gate, I set goals for myself. And I said, every week I'm going to submit to 30 opportunities, as long as there's 30 opportunities to submit to. And, I started tracking it, and I was doing that week after week after week consistently. And I don't track it nowadays, but I still have that habit of working every day to better myself as an actor and to find new opportunities. And that, I think, a lot of people that I've met along the way don't focus energies on looking for opportunities. And it's a numbers game, and it's a relationship industry, just like every other industry. And yeah, my focus was on finding opportunities, and that's really what and I'll continue to do that until I'm at a position where the opportunities are coming to me, and I hope that happens one day. But until then, I submit every day, and that's what I think actors that are starting off or are newer, or even people that have been doing this for quite a while but aren't where they want to be. You have to submit to opportunities every day if you want to make progress on moving forward and booking work.
Great.
I hope I
Yes, yes, of course, because your answer as well has an advice also for people, uh, whatever their age or background, if they want really to change career, not necessarily to venture into entertainment, they can pursue their enthusiasm, and they don't be afraid from tomorrow or the future. You know what I can say. But I want to tell you, as an artist right now, do you have like a dream character or a dream project you want to realize as a certain point of your career right now?
Well, I want to be in the more into the film and TV space than I am. I've done some indie
Hmm.
work, but I'm not really at that level. And I'm like literally had a meeting last week with a possible representation for that. And so I want
Hmm.
to be at that level where I'm either a regular on a series, or I'm a principal in a feature film. And if it's a character, for me, it's a character that is both, let me think of the right words to say. Let's just say he's a doctor who he gets things done right, but he's got this mischievous side that people don't see, So there's a little conflict in his character. So I'm kind of looking for something where there's the nice guy, but he's not so nice. You know,
Yes. Mike, I want to thank you very much for joining the live. I wish you all the best in your upcoming feature length project. Don't forget to invite us to the red carpet premiere
Absolutely. I
for sure.
appreciate
And best wishes for yourself through your production companies, and I hope you realize your dreams, and I wish you all the best for professionally and on the as well private level as well for your family as well.
Yep, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thanks for having me today, and right
Thank
back
you.
at you. Wish you the best. Mhm.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you.
Have
You
a
too.
good day. Bye bye. Bye.
Bye bye.